Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for today's episode of Real Estate Disruptors. Today we have Tyler Hixson with OpenDoor, and he's here to share how OpenDoor has already purchased over 10,000 homes in Arizona and almost 2,000 year to date. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Steve Trang, broker owner of Stunning Homes Realty, and I help people become real estate entrepreneurs. If you're excited for today's show, please give me some waves, give me some hearts. And before we get started, I did start the show because I want to give back to the community. We've struggled before, and we talked a little bit about your guys' process. There was some struggle on your guys' parts, and we want to shortcut that struggle for as many young leaders as possible. I don't charge a dime for this show. I don't make any money doing this, so here's all I ask. This is the cost to you guys. If you get value out of this show, please tell a friend. Either share this episode now, tag a friend below, or tell your friend your best takeaway from this show later on. That way we can all grow together. And don't forget, this is a live show, so while we're doing the Q&A sessions, please post your questions, and Tyler would love to answer them for you. All right, you ready?
Certainly. Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll start really simple.
Yeah.
How did OpenDoor come to be?
So OpenDoor came to be because there was a gap in sort of the experience that was needed in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what are the three biggest pain points for a seller in the traditional process, and then how can we essentially flip those on their head and make that our highest value proposition.
Yeah.
Right. So originally it comes down to transparency. There's a lot of lack of transparency within the industry, especially within the costs, and sellers, particularly a lot of times there's so many moving pieces. You don't know how much you're actually walking away with till you get to the end of the line, right? There's so many obstacles you have to overcome.
That's a
in the
problem
process.
in and of itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Certainty of execution, right? Which we still see today. Anywhere from 15 to 20+% of transactions in a year are fall throughs due to buyer financing contingencies, whatever it is. And then simplicity. It's a very complicated, long process that in a stable market can take 90+ days on average. And so how do we then take all those and create a new experience that we can eliminate those issues?
Right.
So one, providing transparency on all the fees up front, putting the seller in the driver's seat, giving them control over the timeline, allowing them to cancel at any time penalty free, so making it as risk free as possible, and then being able to do it simply with one experience and a few clicks of a button.
Okay, so the pain was people walking through, or the uncertainty.
Yep.
The net. What was the third thing?
Yep. Transparency and simplicity.
Okay, simplicity and transparency.
Convenience.
So do you think then that, if an agent was able to convey or maybe even guarantee an amount in the original consultation, that would help solve the need for OpenDoor? Just throwing this out there.
Yeah. So in terms of if I put on my realtor hat, right, and step outside of OpenDoor and I look at what are different ways I can change the paradigm, right? And so one of those is to be able to provide a guaranteed option, right, which is not a new phenomenon, right? The question is how many can do it at the ability that we can in terms
of
scale, the minimal cost associated with it. And so that's one. And we know with convenience, people will pay a premium, right? We all do, we all have Amazon Prime memberships. We all take Ubers. You're happy to pay 1 or 2% more for something that is an infinitely better experience.
Yeah.
The convenience factor is a huge one, and which is going to be the hardest one for a traditional agent to solve, right? How many traditional agents can list a home on the MLS but eliminate showings while also providing a market value offer? Right? So there's ways in which hopefully as we sort of pave the way for a lot of this, that new companies, new technologies, new opportunities come out that help everyone in that process to be able to provide an overall better experience for sellers and buyers. Yeah,
we can't argue necessarily the simplicity. I mean, simplicity, people are willing to pay value for it or premium for it. But it's interesting the transparency part and the certainty part, because those are two things that we've talked a lot about in the coaching program that I'm in with Craig Proctor, and we'll go into it later on. But it's interesting that's you guys went in there with these are the two pain points or multiple pain points people were experiencing. So how did you become affiliated with OpenDoor?
Nearly by accident. I had recently moved to Arizona from North Carolina, and I was selling new homes with a builder. And the first home I sold for the builder, OpenDoor was on the other end. So
in North Carolina?
No, in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
In Phoenix. And so this was early 2016.
Okay.
So we had a move-in ready spec, had a family come in. They really loved the home, but they still had their current home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was walking them through the options. Like, look, we can either help you get in touch with an agent. We can get the home on the market. We can build this home on another lot. We can like sync it all up, or come back to me in a few weeks once your home's under contract. Hopefully this is still here. You know, it was a very uncertain like value proposition for these people who just like desperately wanted this home.
Right.
And they said, well, we've heard about this thing called OpenDoor. And I go, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it was already up and running before you.
It was up and running, very small still at that point.
Okay.
We were buying about maybe 40, 45 houses a month. They had heard about it on the radio or gotten a mailer. So they showed me the website, and I was like, this is either great or it's a total scam. So I told them to go ahead and get an offer.
Yeah.
I comped their home and sort of gave them a range on where I thought the value should come in at. I said, go ahead and get an offer. Let's just see what happens. The offer came back right on the money. The total fee for them was only 7.5%. They signed with the builder and signed with OpenDoor on the same day. And 28 days later, they just moved from one house to the next.
Right.
And so from as soon as they like walked out the door, I started trying to figure out how can I be a part of this.
Okay.
And
So there's something that you saw that you're like, man, this is a really cool
right.
company that I want to work with. And
yeah, for me, coming from a small town in North Carolina where it was very easy to know sort of the stack ranking of agents, right? There's only a few major brokerages, smaller agent pool. For instance, they had like 40 new listings come on the market last month in this town. And looking at myself, moving out to Phoenix, I spent a lot of time trying to research who is sort of changing the game or doing something that's new and innovative, and how do I, as a consumer, moving into Phoenix, I don't know anybody, no connections. If I want to hire an agent, how can I possibly like find a great service or a great person? Because it's everybody's independent brokerages. You know, there's 45,000 agents in Maricopa County alone, and sort of in that process, I discovered OpenDoor and was like, this is what I've been looking for, and just sort of stumbled in the door, right place, right time.
All right. So one thing you mentioned earlier was Phoenix. Why are you guys in Phoenix? Why is everyone starting in Phoenix?
The mecca of everybody's just airdropping in.
I mean, I would think the Bay Area, where all the tech companies are at, that's where they should start. So why does everyone start in Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix is great because it's representative, like 80% of Phoenix like represents most other mid to major size markets in the country. So Phoenix is one where you've got a lot of transactions happening. It's a very like healthy economy. Median price point is still in a normal band that mimics most of the rest of the country. So it's a great like starting ground for that.
So you think demographic wise is very much like other major metropolitan
Correct.
areas.
Yeah. When you're looking at, there's tens of thousands of transaction size happening a year, and happening in that like 200 to 350 price band, that'll give you a good indicator of what's going to happen in another similar market across the country, which we've seen sort of going into Atlanta and places like that, that are very similar. It also helped that our CEO grew up in Glendale.
So that was the problem.
Hometown love there. Yeah.
Okay, so I've talked about this with a couple other investors as well, and I have my own theory on this.
Yep.
It's that if you look at Phoenix, unlike most markets, if you have, let's just say today, right? I'm in this right in the studio right now. We're in Tempe. We finished this. I get out, look at my phone. Someone's like, "Hey, I want to sell my house in Glendale," right? I can say with certainty, I'll be there in 45 minutes. But if I'm in California, then that 30 minutes can be 4 hours, or it could be 30 minutes. And I don't know how it is the rest of the country, but I could run a team that services the whole valley pretty well with one like location, right?
Right.
With one building, whereas I think the rest of the country, you don't have that flexibility. Because if you look at real trends, do you pay attention to real trends at all? If you look at like the top 1,000, I don't know what the number is, but I think it's like, I feel like 20% are in Arizona. And I think like traditional real estate teams start that way. I think that's probably the convenience for you guys too. Anyway, that's my theory. So what were some of you guys' early struggles when you guys opened up here?
Yeah, where do we start? One, I think like ignoring or not outreaching to like the traditional real estate community early enough.
So it's kind of adversarial in the beginning.
somewhat adversarial.
Them towards you, not you towards them.
So when I started, prior to that, we weren't operating within the traditional industry at all in terms of we weren't making offers on homes that were represented by an agent, primarily because we were trying to still figure out what we call proof of concept, right? So could we, is there a there? Can we buy a home directly from a homeowner using our platform?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, when you have 100 listings pop on the board, everyone sort of goes like, well, where did this come from? Who are you? And there's sort of like two assumptions that come out of that, right? Out of sort of like the fear and the unknown is either you're taking advantage of homeowners, they're leaving tons of equity on the table. You know, you're making flashy offers and like bonking them over the head during the inspection period, and then catching them in a vulnerable position. Or B, you're making great offers to sellers and you're out to eliminate real estate agents. Neither of which were true, thankfully, and it's very much evolved over time in terms of like the sentiment and the reaction we get. Now the most common question I get is like, you're not making money on these houses, like how does this actually work?
Right, and that's a question later on that we're gonna get to.
Yeah, so one, I think like we definitely misstepped, and could we have done it any different? I don't know, right? Like we sort of came together when we did and everything sort of like fell into place. And we learned a lot of those lessons, but we could have learned more from the industry, I think, early on, and like having more, almost like advisors, right? So looking at it is something we think about a lot, like having advisors in markets. And I spend a lot of time talking to agents in Phoenix and all over the country and looking for ways to develop new ideas for agents.
Right.
The other was like technology and security, like things like that. Like, our homes used to be open 24 hours a day. And if you did the text to enter, it like came to our cell phones. And like, we were the ones at 3 a.m. trying to like.
Oh, people were doing this.
Yeah. Like, so we were, it was like very hacky. It was always like very hacky in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, as we've hired on just like world-class talent and just like learned lessons the hard ways. I mean, the quickest way to success is to fail like 100 times, right?
Right.
So we could spend 3 hours just like talking through all of those. But luckily we learn quickly, we move quickly.
Yeah.
And from there we just want to keep like leveraging that.
So some of the complaints that you guys had in the beginning, you said that, or one of the things you said was that people were asking, how do you're taking these people's equity? You don't get this question anymore.
Not in the same. We still hear a lot of the rumblings, right?
Okay.
And I do,
So you get.
We're all in the Facebook forum, right?
Right.
So you see, that that sellers are leaving money on the table and they don't even know it, right? Which is one that I take issue with because I go, that's very like patronizing to your consumer, right? Like consumers are smarter now than they ever have been before. Like, you can run a net sheet pretty easily as a seller, right? There's like 3 sort of options. There's either like the FSBO option, which is like the worst experience the longest time, but potentially the most money. There's like the traditional option, which is costs some money, but can like maximize your market value, right? And then there's our option, which is becoming more of like the better experience and maybe costs a little more to do so, but you're getting the trade-off of time and certainty for that.
So you were saying like between the traditional, I think everyone agrees FSBO sucks.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking between the traditional and OpenDoor. You're saying OpenDoor, it's costs a little bit more for the homeowner, but it's worth it in that homeowner's mind, right? The experience justifies the premium that they're paying.
Yeah, and everything's fluid, right? And so the spectrum is always shifting. So 2 years ago, when our average fee was like 11%, then we were very much a niche product for somebody who was relocating, needed the certainty of execution and the speed at which we could move, right? And then now when our average fee is like 6.5% and we're achieving parity within the market, then it comes down to how aggressive our valuation can be, right? Can we strive to make market value offers? The debate can come into like, what is market value, right? And so when we look at homes, we're looking at like, what is the true value of the home as it stands today based on the closed comps and its present condition, right? As a listing agent, my job is to speculate, right? It's to ride the wave of the active and pendings in the market and like find that marriage between time and dollars, right? There's a trade-off for everything.
Right.
But just because somebody sells for a higher purchase price doesn't mean they're walking away with more money, right? Like that also can come with additional costs because you spent money like prepping your home, right?
Right.
Repainting, carpet, like storage, decluttering, whatever it is.
Mortgage payments
During that time. You're then like going on the market. You're still facing the inspection and the Benzer and everything else. And so by the end of the day, even if you sell your home for like 4 to 6% more on the market, the average difference is less than 2.5% in terms of what sellers are actually walking away with.
Right.
And then if you're a seller who's a buyer and you're just like, all your proceeds are really just mortgage dollars you're amortizing out, like it's all about achieving the need, right? Like we don't sell houses because we want to as consumers, right? We sell houses because we need to, because we want to like accomplish a goal. So the more that we can help put consumers in the driver's seat and have control over that situation, and if they can accomplish that goal in 30 days as opposed to 120 days, by the time they have these 2 escrows, then like there's real traction that happens there.
So there's 2 things that came up there. So let me ask them if I can remember both of them. The first thing, we're talking about the inspection, because, whether you go traditional or you go open door, you're still going to run into this inspection thing.
Correct.
Do you guys have like an estimated like Benzer repairs cost?
Yeah. I mean, every house is unique, right? And so we will come in, we'll do an inspection, we'll present a repair ask like a traditional buyer. And what we're asking for is what we anticipate the end buyer to ask us for, given the same information.
So you guys don't have like, here's the budget, or here's what to ask for. Like, usually it's between 2 to 3%. It's just you guys do an inspection, and then you guys get a bid, and then that's what you turn into the homeowner.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to fall within some sort of like specific range. And there are times in which like a high repair ask isn't always a bad thing. For a homeowner who is cash strapped but has equity, when they're looking at the 2 options and we come in and say, hey, it's indisputable, right, that you need a new roof and a new HVAC, right, which alone can be $15,000, $16,000. Any agent is going to tell them the same thing, and every buyer is going to ask and expect the same thing, right? In a retail sense, that seller may not have cash to complete those repairs, and with us, we will provide the ability for them to just give us a credit in lieu of doing the repairs, in which we are provided, like we get steep vendor discounts. We don't put any fluff on our repair ask. Like, we don't make money on repairs. And so when you have the ability to like provide that sort of service or to somebody, that can be a huge win for the seller and for the agent who's like working with that seller.
So let me ask a second question to that. Right now, so I work with a lot of wholesalers, investors, flippers in the area, and one of the greatest challenge is buying the property right? If you bought the property wrong, if your underwriting was off, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
So with the amount of volume you guys buy, who's underwriting these properties? Who's estimating what the after repair value is?
Yeah, so we can sort of walk through. It all starts with the initial valuation, right? Because for us, with having like minimal to no margins, you're walking a tightrope. And if we overvalue, we buy a ton of houses that we then lose money on, and if we undervalue, nobody's going to sell their home to us. So we use traditional CMA approach when we value homes. We have an
the initial is automated, right, or is it not?
No.
Oh, so everything is done
correct
with like
with
either
humans.
In-house or everything's humans.
Yeah. So we have
so the initial offer is a person came up with that number.
Multiple people. So we have we do have an algorithm, which I'll talk about. We have an in-house team. We call them our valuation leads. They're local in every market we operate in. These are primarily made up of former real estate agents and appraisers, or people with strong analytic backgrounds. And so we built our own CMA tooling. Right. So we pull in all the information the homeowner's giving us. We're pulling in MLS info, Zillow, et cetera. And with that, the val leads are able to control and like find the best comps. They're able to see all the pictures and information like side by side. We're making granular adjustments for every feature and item like in that home. And so every home is comped against 3 to 8 comps, and there's anywhere from 1 to 3 separate CMA evaluations done per property before somebody kind of takes those together and like determines the market value of that home.
Well, let me ask another question. How many organic inquiries are you guys getting a day?
A lot. Yeah.
Hundreds, tens, thousands?
I mean, we've done in Phoenix, I want to say we've probably done, we've done a few 100,000 valuations in Phoenix alone over the course of the last 4 years.
So if I submit inquiry today, I can expect to see an estimated value tomorrow that 1 to 3 people looked at my property and gave me a number.
Correct.
Impressive.
Yep. So yeah, we have an algorithm, of course, like, and it uses machine learning to like get smarter as it goes, and so it's sort of working alongside the human, and the human is training the algorithm essentially.
Yeah.
So the best way to think about it is, in the beginning, say it had one calculation for price per square foot for a lot, but like you and I know the difference in Scottsdale and Queen Creek and Glendale is different. So as we are doing our valuations and overriding it, the algorithm's like learning from that, and so it'll do it side by side with everything, and then it helps us be able to run like predictions and like overall like forecasting and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So you got the people that start with the initial offer, and so we got 1 to 3 people doing it. You got machine learning, and then you guys do the inspection afterwards, and then.
So yeah, once we go into contract, we'll do an inspection.
So the number you guys come up with initially is before meeting the homeowner and seeing the house.
Correct.
And then you see the house. Is there an adjustment made, or is there not an adjustment made?
There's not an adjustment made on the purchase price.
Okay.
With an asterisk. So the only time it will change is if the seller provided incorrect information.
Okay.
So if somebody comes in and says, I have all these, I have X features, and we go in and find out it's actually like Y features, then we'll say, hey, like this was misrepresented to us, and like here's what we believe the true value of the home is based on the correct information.
Okay.
But no, when we come in and do an inspection, we will, that's when we sort of like do our underwriting process, right? So we're looking at what is the value of the home in its present condition, what are the repairs that are needed, and then any potential like renovation type items we do out of our own pocket, right? So like paint, carpet, landscaping, we do very minor things just to get it marketable. And then we re-review the property again right before we list it to see how the comps have changed, over the course of like the 20 to 90 days since we first offered on it.
Yeah, but that's too late. You can't do anything about that, right? Underwriting is on the purchase.
Yeah.
So Jamil's got a couple of questions. So do you guys take into consideration to finish? So I guess, for example, it was granite tile versus...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so granite versus Corian, Formica, butcher block, whatever it is, we're accounting for all of those.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, let's see, we've seen OpenDoor offers creep up near home would be worth after rehab. Do you guys ask for credit for finish? Like, let's say like the house needs, like it's laminate, right? I mean, it's 1970s.
And every other comp has been upgraded, right? No. So anything that's like a renovation type cost, that's us,
built into the original underwriting,
so
original offer.
That's comes out of our bucket of money. So us as principal in the transaction, right? We buy the home. If we choose to spend money on renovations, we think it's gonna get a return on it, and it's gonna bring it up to value in the community. That's our cost and our risk.
Okay.
So we won't come in to a seller and say, hey, your house is way outdated, and your 4 neighbors all have done renovations in the last 10 years. We're gonna need you to do those. We're not looking for that.
We're not looking for that, but it's adjusted in the offer.
Yeah, so I mean, it's accounted for. If that house is obviously not as upgraded or renovated as like the closed comps in the neighborhood, then yeah, we're certainly going to account for a home that every agent should, right? Like Formica versus granite, et cetera. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. We already talked about some of the struggles. So knowing what you know today, is there anything you guys would do differently?
It's a tough question. Mainly because like we're growing so quickly, right? So we're still a very young company. I think that's one that is a tough misconception, is that people think either like we're this big corporate deep pockets thing, right? And
you guys are a unicorn company.
We are a unicorn company. There's a difference in like valuation and like depth of pockets, right? So there's we're a young company. We're growing quickly. Like we make mistakes. We learn from those mistakes. We are constantly trying to build. We're trying to build a world-class customer experience, and with that is building a world-class operations. And so being able to continue to like operate smarter and more efficient and drive down that cost so that we can reduce our fee and put more money in sellers' pockets, like that's our ultimate goal. And it's been great to see going from, when I started and there was 12 of us in Phoenix, and now in Phoenix alone there's 185 of us, right? And we've brought that many jobs like strictly to our office. Like that's been sort of our contribution. We spend over $1 million a month with local companies, like local contractors. So seeing that sort of growth and the way it's sort of that small cycle as it continues to grow has been really wonderful to see. And we know the problems are infinite, right? Like we have 1 million problems to solve, and it's just fun getting to like tackle each one each day.
Right. I can definitely empathize with that. So what Nathan Clark wants to know, what are you guys going to do when the market shifts?
people are always going to need to sell homes,
Right.
right? We want to be there at that point.
But would you guys, I mean, if the hold time, right? And today I think it takes about 35 days to sell a home.
Right.
Right? Less than that if you price it right the first time. But eventually we're going to have a 6-month hold time.
Yeah.
9-month hold time. Like, you guys have to make some sort of changes. If
Yeah,
nothing else,
certainly.
the convenience fee's got to go up.
Correct. Yeah.
So
and
what are you
think
guys going to do?
Most of the fee is like ours calculating our holding costs. So
Right.
So our job is essentially to meet that seller at the point in which they're ready to transact, predict how their home is going to perform on the market, and then go ahead and meet them at that net proceeds up front and give them the liquidity to go ahead and make that next move.
Okay.
Right. So for us, as long as we can see it happening in real time and we see the days on market extending, as long as we're calculating for the appropriate holding costs for that, then like we will be okay. The seller is still getting value in that when the market turns down, the value of certainty increases exponentially, right? So, looking at in the bottom of the recession, when you're looking at your value is like tanking month over month, and you're going, I could easily spend 12 to 18 months on market, right? But I need to move, and I can't. I either pay for 2 mortgages or I what? Like, I just drop the price, super low. But if we're able to come in at 8-9% in a falling market, right, to go ahead and be able to provide that certainty and say we can close in 2 weeks, right, then that changes the game.
So this is actually a topic that came up. I was on a panel a couple of weeks ago, and this exact topic came up, and I'm wondering if by the time we have a situation where it's like a 6 to 9 month hold time, or days on market, and your offers have to be adjusted for holding costs. I mean, it makes only business sense. Why would you not?
Right.
Then working with an agent seems a lot more competitive, right? It seems to make more sense at that point to go with an agent than not to go with an agent. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you guys pondered that at all?
I think about that, right, in terms of like where I sit within the company and like and within the industry. So I think about that continually. For me, it doesn't really change because I believe like our mission statement as a company is we want to empower everyone with the freedom to move. Right. 95% of the market doesn't use our type of product right now. Right. It's like the agent is still king.
Yeah.
And the path to providing every seller with every opportunity is like keeping the agent at the center of the transaction.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm doing my job appropriately, right, and I'm equipping agents with the power to provide like a list option and a sale option and like help provide those pathways, then whether the market is shifting up or down, like we're going to be there.
Right.
And so if our pricing and our product is in line with the market and like where it should be, and we can remain in business, then the agent could be more competitive and like ultimately want what's best for the homeowner. Right. So if they take our offer, great. If the agent sells the house, great. Right. There's a very large pie, and I mean you see right now, we typically in Phoenix hover around 700 plus active listings. Like those are buyer's agents all day long, right? Like buyer's agents love us, right? Listing agents, it's a work in progress, depending on the agent.
Right.
But eventually, like I definitely see like us being in complete cohesion with the agent community.
Okay.
Because we're really just a product for agents.
Right.
If you frame it right.
Oh, that makes sense. And then Jamil Damji wants to know how long do you think OpenDoor is gonna, or how long do you guys feel this current market is gonna stay this way? The conditions.
Ooh.
You guys must have some internal economists predicting something.
Yeah, we do have a lot of world-class economists. I tend to just rely on Jim Sexton, some former DB at Realty
Smart guy.
Group.
Very smart guy.
I sit across from him and just kind of pester him all day.
He's not really an economist, though. He's just a really
He's
smart broker.
He's just really
and really
smart. I've been doing
experienced.
this forever. So when I need to know Phoenix, I talk to Jim.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not going to be the best one to answer. I mean, I think what are we looking at in terms of everything's very healthy right now, but it's sort of like I don't see it like dropping out, but I do see it plateauing. Right. We are sort of reaching a threshold when like income isn't rising as fast as prices, but then like rents are also increasing. We're just sort of like hitting this weird cap.
I feel like we're leveling
soon,
off a little
right?
bit.
Like it's got to have room to breathe here soon.
Okay. And then Nathan Clark wants to know, do you see, companies like Zillow with their instant offers? I think Redfin did something, I want to say like 8-10 months, maybe even longer ago. Do you guys see the impact of that? Is that affecting you guys in any way?
It's like it's great validation for one, right? Like sort of to have Zillow laugh at you in 2015 and then now like join the party in 2018.
Hey, imitation's
right?
the greatest flattery.
It's great. Sort of like the Mac to IBM welcome in the 80s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely gives us validation. Like we have proven there's like a demand from consumers, right? They want the experience, and the more that other players come into the space, the more it's going to keep pushing us and everyone. Like you have to deliver a great experience and provide a great product, and you have to do it at a great cost.
Yeah.
And so all that's going to do is like help us keep our nose to the grind and like keep pushing to build that consumer and operational excellence.
So it's on the back of your mind, but it's not a major concern. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, if you spend your time, too much time looking at the other guy, like where are you going to go?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Oh, that's a very good point. So this kind of leads to my next question. So you guys took my idea that I was already doing many, many years ago, and you guys took it to the next level. So I'm super jealous about the whole thing. But let's just say today, I was like, man, I had a great meeting with Tyler. I'm inspired. I want to go make this thing happen for myself. How would I do that?
You want to actually start providing the direct.
I want to be OpenDoor too.
You want to be OpenDoor too. You're going to need cash, right? Like we purchase homes cash, so we're not coming in as a finance buyer, and you're going to need a really strong operational force behind you. Right?
Yeah.
So we have built a very tightly knit process. We have great control over how we manage underwrite and manage the repairs and renovations of those homes, which is it's very heavy operationally. So it's not something that you can come in and just do on your own, right? You need a great team,
so
and
2 or 3 guys,
great local presence, right? Yeah, to be able to have a shot at it.
So lots of money.
Yep.
So we got to go raise some funds.
Yep. Go raise some funds. Get somebody like really good at valuing homes, and then somebody really good at fixing homes, and then
good underwriters,
hire a great agent,
good contractors, good agents.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are obviously a lot of people doing this right now, right? Like what you guys aren't doing isn't a brand new concept.
No.
You guys just doing it differently.
Not at all. Yeah.
Right.
We just sort of found a way to carve a space between like your traditional investor and like your retail agent. Right.
Yeah.
And so instead we don't need, because we're not a true flipper and that we're not trying to come in and maximize the return on a single property, it allows us to sort of sit in a new space where we can do it at a cheaper cost because we're not trying to make a large margin on the home. But the ability to then like balance out, right, is you can do a small group or one person who can do, 4 properties a year, say, very well, right, and make a good income and like provide a good service and run a good team, right. But then if you're looking at us, right, we've done 2,000 homes in Phoenix this year.
Yeah.
You can't do that as a small, or not like a
very
well-oiled machine, right?
Not sleeping if you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's walk through what an OpenDoor offer looks like, right? So I'm in my house, right? I'm on my computer. I'm typing the address. What happens then?
Okay, so you type in your address. You're going to tell us information about the interior features and conditions of your home, primarily, right? What type of flooring is your main living area? Like, what's the condition of your interior paint, your cabinets, appliances, bathrooms, landscaping, etc. The whole nine. We force you to tell us the most important information, but we give you the opportunity to tell us as much information as you want to provide. The more information, the better, right? Because the more information we have, the more aggressive and certain we can be in our valuation.
Yeah. And
we allow sellers to upload pictures as well, which is a huge help. So from there, the home goes through its valuation process, and within 24 hours, we're sending a purchase agreement over. At that point, we present the offer. The offer price is what our valuation is, and then for that there's a service fee charged to be able to purchase the home. And so say the service fee, for example, on your home is 7%. The way that fee actually breaks out is 3% of that is the co-broke that we're going to collect from the seller to provide the buyer's agent who's going to bring the end buyer.
Right.
So it's a similar structure to a commission in that there is sort of like our side and then there's the co-broke side. So if we're going to hold 3% for the buyer's agent, that 4%, the remainder that we're actually using to provide this service, the majority of it is the holding costs, right? So for the predicted days on market that we're going to own the home in your place. And then, you and I have the same costs, right? Like lock boxes, photography, sort of like brokerage costs. And then, at the end of the day, if there's like a hair left over, then that's where we walk away.
Okay, so really not a lot of margin.
No.
Okay, and then Jim wants to know: do you guys consider yourself a wholesaler?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's see what else I got. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the questions that people asked in the Facebook forum earlier. I posted this a couple of days ago, so we got a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
And guys, still, ask your questions. I think Tyler's still happy to answer them. So the first question, we got Gordon Hagman. How do you guys plan on making money in a down cycle? I think you guys probably talked about it a little bit already. You guys are just going to adjust your convenience fee.
Right. So in adjusting the fee, like if you see it happening in real time and you're adjusting the fee accordingly, right, we can still mirror our existing service. Luckily, the question I don't get paid to think about is like, once we own all of that inventory in a slow market, like what do we do with it?
Right. Insurance claims.
Right.
Fire insurance.
Form a giant property management company. I don't know. So in a down market, it's all about accuracy. Everything for us is accuracy, like the accuracy of the home, the accuracy of the market, like really understanding it from a microscopic to a macroscopic view at all times is like critical to our success.
But you guys don't really have like a lot of holding costs as far as like a regular homeowner, right? Like a regular homeowner, they've got their mortgage, right? That $1,500 a month or whatever that number is, that's going out every month. I've got no choice.
Right.
But you guys are buying these. You guys have raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's not an exaggeration. That's a real hundreds of millions of dollars. So. Right. Your shareholders aren't charging you interest, obviously. So your holding costs are fairly minimal, right?
In terms of like physical costs to hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean that is, you look at it as an investor, like we're looking at it the same way you are, right? So we. Well,
I have to pay like 13% on my money. Okay. You don't have to pay 13% on your money.
I don't know what our interest rate is on those, but we're looking at like utility costs, like cost of service. We're looking at any sort of like we have people who are like visiting all these homes, doing the setup and the breakdown of the access technology, all of that. So we're factoring all that in. So in a way, it is very much mirrors like a traditional investor's process in terms of the holding costs.
Okay. Let's see. So Nathan Clark wants to know if you guys are planning on expanding outside of Arizona, and are you guys planning on coming to Rhode Island anytime soon? Which is a great question because Nathan lives in Rhode Island.
Okay.
He's the king of Rhode Island.
We're in 12 markets currently.
All right.
We probably be in about 18 by the end of the year.
Okay.
So we're starting to expand quickly. We're in Phoenix, Dallas-Fort Worth, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Nashville, Raleigh, Charlotte, Tampa, Orlando, Minneapolis, Houston, San Antonio.
That's a lot of markets.
It's a lot of markets at this point.
And there's one of you guys. Was one of you in each one of those markets? The agent representative.
Yeah. So the way. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just gotta. How would they find their local guy? If I have a guy in Nashville listening to this right now, how would he find?
Yeah. So primarily through our website, the opendoor.com/agents.
Okay.
And so that's the site for any agent who wants to be able to get an offer for their seller. You can do so as soon as you have that listing agreement signed. We can get you an offer within 24 hours to be able to come back and look like an all-star. Everything starts there, like central to that website. And so the way our structure is in Phoenix, it's the most mature market, right? So I serve as the buying and listing agent for OpenDoor as the agent of OpenDoor Homes, our brokerage. And then I have a team of agents who handle sort of our acquisition offers with listing agents, and then a team of co-listing agents that handle all of our resales with buyer agents. And so throughout the country, we have like similar setups.
Okay.
In a new market, say Houston just launched last week, then we've got like one agent there, versus in Phoenix where I've got like 15. For that size. But yeah, everything starts with the website. You just come in, put in the address, tell us all the information about the home, and then we send the offer to the agent. We don't get any contact info for the seller, and then the agent's delivered a purchase contract in less than 48 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
And Aaron Alvarado wants to know, does it make sense for you guys to ever do subject twos?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. And then Logan Husmer wants to know, what's the single trait that's helped OpenDoor become so successful so quickly?
It's being customer first.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like that's all we think about is starting and ending with the customer. So how do we create an experience that's world class, that is simple and as stress free as possible? And if you can figure out how to deliver on that at a cost that nobody else has been able to do before, like that's true success. It's not about like making money per customer. It's about like providing service per customer. So really, like at the end of the day, all we care about and all we think about is the experience.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what it takes today to win in any industry, not even just real estate. All right. And let's see, we got Patty Knutson wants to know, if you guys are selling homes, you usually sell the clients' homes at low value. How do you still stay in business? I don't think you guys are really selling the houses that are low values. Do you feel that way at all?
No, and like I said, like all of our sales are in the MLS. So the most frequent question I get is an agent who's like, I don't get it. You bought my client's house for $200 and then you sold it for $208 and you paid a 3% commission. Like, okay. Right. So yeah, for us, like especially when we're selling homes, we're pricing with the market. So we're not underselling ourselves.
Right.
Certainly.
Well, it's even harder to do that right now in today's market.
Right.
So Angela Kane wants to know, how do you guys plan to implement better communication processes with your title company? Because they seem to, I guess, drop the ball.
Great question. And so like our title company, Summa, is like new, growing, like we all experience those growing pains as well. So things we've done recently is implement some new like automation processes that removes a lot of the busy work from these operators. And with that, we've also tripled the size of the title and escrow team within that. So in combination with removing a lot of the busy work plus tripling the manpower, we're quickly seeing a difference there to catch up with the volume and like the experience and like the threshold that we set for ourselves in terms of our expectations.
What are some of the busy work you guys are eliminating?
So the ability, and I'm not as tied in to like the title portion in terms of like building that day to day. But so we're always looking for ways, especially, the biggest thing going back and forth is like just emailing like PDFs and things, right? So one, and I'm not saying we've done this, when I think about it, it's like one of the great features with something like Dot Loop, right, is the ability to just like a central doc hub that you can like upload it in and everybody's alerted. Like there's ways through technology to like streamline that process to eliminate a lot of the back and forth, right? So how can we, as a home sort of moves through the life cycle of that process, where do you find points of automation that you can remove that manual process from an operator or even from a consumer? So through technology, like building ways to streamline the process and at the same time growing out the team and being able to provide a higher service to agents and clients.
Is there an OpenDoor title? Is there any plans to open an OpenDoor title?
So we use OS National through there. It's a joint venture.
Okay. So going back to these questions, so we already talked about how do you plan to stay competitive. So, I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit. Like you got Zillow and a couple of these other guys, imitating your business models. Is there any plan right now to stay competitive with them, or are you guys just pretending they're not even there?
It's not so much pretending they're not there, right? It's the threat that ends up, like the predator that ends up beating you is the one you never see coming, right? So there's like all these people there, if we're all in this like drag race to the finish line and you're racing a car at 200 miles an hour, like if you spend all your time looking out the window, like you're going to crash, right? Like you always stay focused on the finish line. And so for us, it's like being aware, obviously, of what's happening, right? Like, we're looking at market share just like everyone else. But for us, like we've built like moats, right, through technology and operations and everything else that like we have a huge runway, right? So it's really like ours to own, and to keep like building more moats and more moats to be able to like keep that runway we have. Okay.
Does David Massey wants to know, does OpenDoor cover all of Arizona's counties?
No, right now we've always primarily operated in Maricopa County and parts of Pinal County, so like Santana Valley. We recently just opened city of Maricopa, and so we'll now purchase homes in the city of Maricopa.
Okay.
But outside of Metro Phoenix, we don't operate in Arizona.
Okay. And then Bob Herzog wants to know, are you guys concerned at all about agent or consumer safety with the ease of access you guys provide?
Yeah, we think about that every day, and that's one of our like constant like worries and like progress that we want to make through like proprietary technology, right? So building, we've presented on this at Inman, right? We've like shown the code stacks and everything for our what we call our Knox system. So all of our homes have proprietary security in there. They have motion sensors. We have the ability to set and trigger alarms, lock and unlock doors. We can tell how long a person has been in a home, which provides lots of great like fun data facts, right? If somebody's in a home for 12 minutes, they're 40% more likely to make an offer. If they're in there for 18 minutes, they're much more likely to be up to no good. We've also partnered with a private security company that has like immediate response to all of our listings in our markets. And so we're very, very much in last month. We had 80,000 home visits across 12 markets, right? And so the rate of incident is like a fraction. It's like a tiny percent. And the most common type thing that I always would like hear about is like high school kids trying to get in somewhere to drink beer. On a Friday.
Is that
night.
really common? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It's at least in the early days when it was much more like the text to enter. But now we have all these like different pieces in place with the app, the proprietary security, the contracted like third-party security companies. Like everything there is very much in real time, and we very much care about the safety of like agents and consumers. And so we produce all of the like NAR. Like safety guidelines and tips, like we provide those to agents and sellers. You can go to opendoor.com/safety if you want to learn more about like our safety protocols.
Do you guys have something though, where like the guy's been in there for 30 minutes? It's time to send an emergency team over there.
So we have the ability, like we can call them, right? Like they use their phone to get in, and so we have that ability to go in and be able to like one, make contact with the customer. Two, we can always like trigger the alarm if we need to, and then three, be able to like call security or police if we have reason to believe there's an issue in a home. Okay,
because I see that complaint come up multiple times in our forum.
Yeah,
right.
It's and part of that is like having, even from showing time, right? Like you have the go and show feature, right? You allow overlapping appointments. The great majority, like an agent coming to see a home and there's somebody else in the home, it's more likely to be another agent than it is like a visitor, right?
Yeah. Okay, and then Nathan Clark wants to know if you can buy an OpenDoor location.
We are not a franchise company.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you can go to opendoor.com/jobs if you're interested.
I don't think you'd want to work as a job. I know him pretty well. Okay, so Max Menace wants to know. So you said OpenDoor is not a wholesale operation, but your work is very similar. So what makes you different than
we
wholesale?
buy homes at 94% of value, not 70% of value. Right, we're not looking to go from 70 to 120. We're looking to go from, 94 to 101. Right, so it's
skinnier margins.
Yeah, much skinnier. Right, we're not in there like renovating or changing the major condition of the home.
Yeah.
Right, so like I said, we live between the wholesale investor and like the retail buyer.
Yeah.
And so the process is similar. Right.
Yeah.
We make a cash offer on a home. We can close quickly. But we do not function, like our underlying function is different.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, what else are there? So we talked about hiding the obvious safety issues or addressing the obvious safety issues. So Layla Woodward wants to know, like you guys are buying at one price and selling at a price, but there's service fees and everything else, right, built into the offer. And I've heard this complaint from multiple realtors really about, like what you guys are buying at doesn't reflect what you guys are actually buying it for, right? Because if you pad in 7% convenience fee and you pad in $12,000 for repairs, you're not really buying it for that price. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, how do you make everybody happy, right? So when I first started and structured the contract, especially with agents, right, we wanted to create as traditional feeling as possible, right? So it'd structure the offer where it was a cash offer at the net price, and we would send the offer out, and it was just very clean, right? Agents continually, hey, can you please stop doing that? Like you're incrementally dragging down the comps month after month within these communities by purchasing where the purchase price is at 93% of value instead of 100% of value. And so we restructured it. And so it's in late 2016, we restructured it so we were writing the purchase price at what the valuation of the home was and taking the fee as a concession. And so I'm not sure I understand the frustration there. It's like if we buy a house at 200 and then we sell it at 206, where it seems like I get that they want to see like how much did they actually pay minus the fees.
They want the transparency.
Right. So they want the transparency there. But it's like, then would you rather have the Comm slow? Like, it's like, how do we find that middle ground where we can like provide the transparency while also like maintaining the Comm value within the communities in which we're purchasing?
I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
Because when you buy them at low prices and you're buying tens or hundreds at a time or in a period of time, killing the comps.
Right.
So I'm with you, but that's a complaint that's out there. So we talked about, sellers don't mind paying inconvenience for what you guys offer. So, and I think you guys done a really good job of giving this value, right, for a cost. And so there's a good friend of mine, Paul Pastore, and he's always talking about you agents are undervaluing how much value or how much consumers willing to pay for value, because you guys are worried, can you get, you see a lot of people offering, I'll list your house for 4%, 5% flat fee. Flat fee is a really hot topic right now. We got purple bricks and whatever, homie.
It's taking some heat off me.
That's good, right? It's good for you. But these guys are looking all wrong because they're not seeing value or selling value, because instead of going more value, they're just reducing costs. And you guys are saying, we're not reducing costs, we're charging more for value. So I thought that was a really interesting experiment that we've been able to see. And like I was saying earlier, I do a lot of the coaching with Craig Proctor, and a lot of your messages are the same messages that we have. You guys make it look better because you guys have a lot more money than we do. So
really good designers too.
Yeah. So that wasn't really a question. I just thought that was an interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's like agents, you can't have one product.
Yeah.
Right. We're heading into 2019. Right. This is not the 1990s. Right. We've got to like evolve with it. And I talk to agents all across the country, and I love hearing how different agents structure their businesses. And I talk to an agent who's like, yeah, of course, I have like I have a low, a mid, and a high program essentially. He's like, I do a 7% listing all day, but you get your carpets professionally steam clean, your house gets pressure washed, like you get all of these additional like true services for that cost, and it's a great option, right? And so it shouldn't just be as an independent agent who isn't part of a like flat rate or like discount type brokerage in itself, but you're trying to figure out how to compete, right? And so you should have a like more self-service, like you're going to be able to save some money, but you're going to get less like valuable offerings from that. You have your sort of like middle of the road, like traditional offering, and then you have like your premium offering.
Concierge services.
Yeah, concierge services plus the ability to like present offers from investor buyers and everything else. Like the key to the agent is to be the one-stop shop, right? So like there's I feel like two evolutions happening. One is you have to be able to provide a like list option and a sell option as an agent, and then the other is looking at more the evolution from like the agent to the team, and then what is happening next is like the expansion team, right? So being able to now not just have a high producing team in one market, but in 4 markets in 4 different states across the country, which has been a really cool thing to see in the last like really take off in the last like 18 months. And now, all these agents I knew in the last year, call me, they're like, hey, I'm going to be here next. I'm going here. And we're seeing it start to pop up, and people really finding ways to like build true business models out of that.
Yep. So Brent Conley asks an interesting question. How can he be your listing agent?
I'm the listing agent.
Huh? Oh, you're the listing agent?
I'm the listing agent.
Oh, did you take that back?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you take? There was who was it? Was it Jackie? What was it?
Jacqueline Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll sort of trade around. Jacqueline, still with us. Sits right next to me. Focused on more of our like brokerage operations, and
so
I handle.
Brent wants your job, is what you're saying.
Brent wants my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that available? Is that on the table right now?
I believe we still might be hiring for the equivalent of like a co-listing agent. So yeah, we OpenDoor.com/jobs for anybody who's interested.
Yeah, I know Brent. I don't think it's going to work for him.
Yeah, we definitely like have situations where we hire agents to sell our homes, right? So I had one few weeks back where we bought this home. It had this like custom German front door on it that was just like really beautiful and like awesome, but we couldn't put our access technology on it. We couldn't change out the lock, and we didn't want to take it apart just to make it open access. So instead of making it part of like the OpenDoor platform, I called up Corinne Wynn, and it was like literally a couple streets over from where Corinne lives, and had her listed for us. So we do that all the time, where we either have houses that are either A, like tough for us to sell because of our open access, or B, it's like a unique circumstance for the home, in which case we'll go find a great local agent to sell that home for us.
All right, so that's a great point. I'm sure a lot of agents love hearing that. You probably just got blown up on yourself. So what do you plan on listing with all the listing leads you create? Like, what do you guys do with them? Throw them in the trash?
Yeah, we respect the privacy of our consumers.
Okay.
Certainly. It's a huge puzzle, right? So one, like, what is the most common question I get from agents, right, is, can I have your leads? From in places like Phoenix, it's very tough. Like if you talk to a home seller, right, and either like they're outside of our buy box or like our fee is too high or whatever it is, and we'll ask them like, hey, like if you need an introduction to an agent, we work with hundreds of agents every month, right? Like we will happily introduce and make a referral in that situation. Sellers in Phoenix, we know like there's one agent for every 154 people in this metro, so like everybody knows an agent.
Right.
Buyers, we do a lot of buyer referrals. Like we have so many people visiting our homes in either situations where they're like a high intent buyer who needs additional help, right? They either like need longer work with the lender, or like they have found an area they like. They've seen all of our homes in that neighborhood, but they want to go see that HomeSmart listing, right? Yeah. And we can call an agent and help them make that introduction, because for us, like, the likelihood of somebody walking into our home and buying it that day is the same as an open house, right? It's like less than 2%, right? But overall, if we can help that person, whether that's purchasing from us or purchasing with an agent, purchasing another home, like we want that person to succeed.
Right.
So yeah, we make local referrals in all of our markets all the time.
Okay, cool. Like I said, I think you can get blown up. What do you guys do when someone's upside down, or their equity there's just not enough equity for you guys to buy it?
Unfortunately at this stage, like, we can't help everybody. So there's lots of situations that we would love to be able to solve, right? So on that end, like helping somebody who's upside down, and being able to do that, but unfortunately, like I can't just like pay more for a house because somebody doesn't have enough equity.
I think you should,
right?
Step up.
On the other end that we look at, like I've always like jokingly offered like any agent that can figure out how to break the FHA flip rule, like we're subject to all the same things that everyone else is.
Are we talking about legally or? Okay, so right now, if they don't have enough equity, you guys just tell them you can't help them.
And same thing on buyers. We don't do seller financing. So it's not like we can take somebody and we're not the lender on that, where we can work with them on like a lease purchase or a rent to own type situation. So there's a million opportunities and like problems out there to solve, right? But like we can't get distracted by trying to solve all of them at once, right? So we have like a core set of things we're trying to solve for and like build right now, and then as we get to like running very quickly and like that road we're paving is smoother, then we can start like branching out and trying to figure out how to address other needs.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have a short sale person that you recommend right now?
I do not.
Okay.
We'll do, like, I've experimented with working with short sale stuff, being able to like make offers on people who are in a short sale situation, whether they have like bank approval or not. Like we're happy to try and like go down that path and provide a service. And short sale agents like it, especially because like we have the ability to present an offer. We're flexible on the timeline, and we're sort of like willing to hang in there with it to see if we can provide a solution. And if we can, it's unfortunate, but like we're happy to try and help with that.
Okay.
Certainly.
And then I heard you mention earlier like high intent buyers that are dealing with like credit challenges or whatever. Is there a lender or credit repair company that you guys work with? We're
selling hundreds of homes every month, and so we interact with a lot of lenders. So I have like a few lenders that like I can always
Yeah.
recommend personally.
Okay.
Austin Bates at VIP did. I just bought a house a few months ago. He
Yeah.
did my loan. It was great. Would highly recommend him. Ryan Oken with Movement Mortgage. Ryan Halderson at VIP. And so just, but we don't necessarily have like a, as it stands today, like a primary like lender funnel.
Okay.
Particularly.
And then let's see. This might sound a little personal.
Okay.
Why does OpenDoor feel they don't need to follow the contract when it comes to completing repairs?
That is a good question. So I would assume they're referring to like a resale type situation. We absolutely want to follow the contract and do follow the contract.
Yeah.
So in a situation where there's a repair that's like outstanding and say like can't be completed prior to close, we can either A, like happily extend closing, or B, provide a letter of intent. We'll see it on things where it's either like an HVAC part or something, or like for like a furnace, or something like windows, something that's going to take weeks of production or whatever to like get the actual like part or piece. So we're always flexible, and so we absolutely like use the AAR purchase contract and like abide by the terms of that purchase contract and want to be as flexible as possible in that experience.
So when you were talking earlier about you guys want to provide the ultimate customer service experience for the sellers, do you guys have the same thing for buyers on your properties?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course we would love to. Right? It's like the goal is how do you build a transformative like selling and buying experience, right? So with buyers, looking at it starts with ease of access, right? So unlocking the ability for buyers to be able to visit properties on their own time and their own schedule. For me, like when I moved to Phoenix, it was great. Like I knew I was going, and me being in the industry, right? I knew I was going to rent for like 6 months to a year, coming from a small town to this like, I literally lived like 2 blocks from here when I first moved here. But I wanted to start kind of like exploring the valley, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to take up an agent's time because I knew I was still like 6 to 12 months out. So I would go see OpenDoor homes and started like getting closer and closer and knowing like, okay, great. By the time I'm ready to purchase, I can call an agent. I've already sort of like self-nurtured myself into like the area I want. And so then the value of the time that I'm using with that agent is going to be much higher than had I just said like, hey, I just moved here, like show me the best 3 to 1,500 square foot house under 300,000.
Right.
Like, so it starts there, right? Like of building an experience that's easy to shop for homes. And then from there, it's like, how do you continually start building on each of the other processes from, like pricing and offers and like negotiations to then like inspection and repair and like getting the home and like, predictable product, in terms of, when you walk into an OpenDoor home, you should have an understanding of like what condition that home is going to be in, right? Or like they should feel similar to each other, right? Either from our like physical marketing and like the experience, right, of going into an OpenDoor home, to especially for agents knowing like here's the like we can guarantee they've always done this type of work, or we know they're going to be flexible in the bids or negotiations, and then whatever they agree to, they're going to follow through on. And so there's like it's easiest in theory, right? And then it's like the challenge is every day waking up and getting better at executing it, right? Especially when you depend on the repairs, is depending on like outside vendors and services and like managing hundreds of transactions and trying to figure out, okay, how can I continually be able to execute at a high level on that many projects at the same time, and just getting like a little bit better every day, so that we look at a year or two from now, that question isn't like thought of, right?
Right. What would you say are like, we already talked about branding a little bit, like what would you say are like 2 or 3 things that are key to your branding success?
I'd say one, like the experience, right? So whether it's, in particular, I'm thinking of like the visiting experience, right? The ability to like find the home on your app, get directions to it. You pull up to the house and you can press one button on your app and that home unlocks, and it knows you're there. The future, right, of being able to potentially like personalize experiences, would be amazing. But right now it stands apart, like the physical experience of like finding and seeing and show like touring an OpenDoor home is the biggest differentiator. In terms of our marketing, we've tried 1,000 things from, we do a lot of the most traditional things like mailers, right? We've gotten into radio. We recently did our first video like commercial in a long time, since like the very early days when we kind of tested with it. And so really about differentiating the experience, right? And so having the consumer understand what is different about selling your home to OpenDoor than it is like going down any other pathway. And two, then like creating a physical experience that nobody's ever created before.
Right. Okay. And then let's see, we already talked about the business models. Do you guys have a goal of percent margin or dollar amount for every transaction you guys do? Is there a target?
We make an average of less than 1% on any home that we sell.
So you guys are profitable.
There's a difference in like making an average of less than 1%. It's when you start looking at like a company, right, that's growing very quickly and like expanding in new markets, and then you start slicing and dicing like when and where does money go to help subsidize like growth in new markets. Comparatively, I mean, you look at Amazon went 22 years before they ever turned a profit because they just kept reinvesting, right? Again, like not a problem I get paid to think about. I spend my days with my realtor hat on figuring out how to work with real estate agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jim wants to know, did you ultimately buy an OpenDoor home?
I did not buy an OpenDoor home. Yeah, I looked at many homes. No, RJ Cushing with JK Realty was the listing agent for the home that I purchased.
Yeah.
He was great. I would use him for myself if I needed to like sell my own home. Didn't want to. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
But no, I bought a market home.
Okay.
I would definitely buy an OpenDoor home, but where I was looking for a very particular like location,
right,
and price point, and also like we didn't have a house there.
Okay. What you just mentioned radio and video. So where are you guys advertising right now?
Social. It's like online. We do a lot of that. We still do.
It's like Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, so you'll see us on Facebook. If you go to opendoor.com, I mean, you'll see us, throughout your future browsing. Beyond that, but yeah, we do a lot of like we've gotten into the Facebook and the social game within the last year or so. And in the very beginning, we did like a ton of like mailers and stuff. Right, it was very traditional farming techniques, in which now we can in Phoenix. I don't think we do mailers quite as often because now we're more of a household name. It's not as much of a reminder game.
So, mailers, starting TV, right?
Yeah, we ran. We did a video commercial. We actually maybe have even just only published it online.
Okay.
I don't really watch TV though, so actually we could have 100 commercials and I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that you guys are big on Pandora,
TVs.
And I have no idea.
Yeah, Pandora radio ads.
I don't use Pandora.
Yeah.
So we got. You guys doing pay-per-click for a while? You guys still doing pay-per-click?
I would assume so.
Okay, so
yeah.
Do you guys track like where's like your top 2 or 3 lead sources?
Yeah, for a long time, like radio was like our biggest converter. Mailers, of course, like are great, like awareness tool, especially. That's a difficult space, right? Especially in Phoenix, where everybody's getting like yellow letters and all the like investor mailers, and then looking at like, well, what is this?
It's all noise at this point.
It just becomes noise, right? Yeah. The biggest thing is like, of course, like word of mouth and for sale signs, right? So people start seeing 4 OpenDoor for sale signs on their drive to work every day. Like when they go to sell their home, they're gonna think of us, right? Or they're at least gonna have like seen an OpenDoor home. Homeowners love to go check out open houses, right? Because they always wonder what their neighbor's house looks like.
So capturing them there,
right? So they can every time an OpenDoor home comes for sale, like how many neighbors do you think are like walking by at night going, "Oh, I always wonder what that house looks like," and they can actually just go in and see it. Right. So yeah, at this point, word of mouth and like physical signage, along with radio, are probably our biggest.
So I just need a crap load of signs out there.
You
Can I
need
put
a lot
my
of
signs next to yours?
You need a lot of signs. Yeah.
When is OpenDoor coming to Charlotte?
We're in Charlotte.
You're in Charlotte.
Yep.
All right, Justin.
Yep.
Hope
we're live. Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that. All right. So if there's one message you would want to leave everybody with, what would you want to leave them with?
In the real estate community, particularly, like we're just another tool in your tool belt, right? Like we're your local buyer, we're your local seller, and so the ability to approach every seller with multiple opportunities, right? And we believe that every seller deserves every opportunity to sell their home, because there's no longer one path, right? It used to be like you listed your home or you sold it yourself, right?
Yeah.
And now there's a myriad of different ways, right, to sell your homes. And it's important that the agent is still like the expert there, right? And they're at the center of that transaction. They're providing all those opportunities, right? So listing that home, or the ability to come back and bring an offer and come to our website. It'll take you 3 minutes, right? Like, what's the least you can do for your seller, right? Like, bring them an offer very quickly. And if it works, great. We have lots of value propositions, especially in today's market and all of these markets we're in. And like, I guarantee pretty much every person listening right now is in a seller market, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a seller who also needs to buy, and you can eliminate the stress and the uncertainty of that home sale, you can go make an offer like on that next home today, right? You can get an offer from us, they can sign it, and you can worry about just finding that next great home and not have to worry about what do we do with this current home. We had an agent last week who did that. The buyer called her in a panic, said, I have to have this house. They weren't set to list his house for another 2 weeks. And so we were able to present an offer, and he got that house, right?
Yeah.
We were able to, within 24 hours, get him an offer. It worked. Signed our contract. They made an offer. You know, the listing agent on the other end sees that contingent offer and sees its open door on the other end, and they were able to like make that work.
Yeah.
So we want to like decrease cycle times for everybody.
Okay. All right. So appreciate that. Thank you very much. If someone wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Yeah. OpenDoor.com/agents. And it's going to be the primary way. If you need an inquiry outside of that you can't find on the website, you can always email agents@opendoor.com.
All right. Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And if you guys like this show, please do share this episode. And please join me next Wednesday, 2 o'clock. We got Elijah Rubin. He's the king of houses burnt to a crisp. So he loves firehouses. And he's also the guy that runs the Young Millionaire Society. And don't forget to join or check out our website, realestatedisruptors.com, so you can find out about our upcoming events. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys.